Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Orleans Saints Offensive Breakdown. I am Frank Martin. As you know, normally we do New Orleans Saints plays here on the OB, but I decided to spread my wings out a little bit. You see, I've been studying a lot for my fantasy football draft, and in the course of doing that, I've been watching a lot of tape on other players from other teams, so might as well make use of that, right, and make a offensive breakdown video. So here we go. The topic today:
Brandon Marshall versus Alshon Jeffery. Who you got? Who you want? First off, these guys both warrant discussion because they are both elite wide receivers. Last season, the Bears' dynamic duo accounted for 2,716 yards and 19 touchdowns. Now, after watching tape, it's clear to me Brandon Marshall is not slowing down. He has not lost a step. And when it comes to Alshon Jeffery, well, he might be ready to launch into superstar status, folks. I mean, he's entering that third season. Special things could be on the horizon. You know that, though, right? They're both good.
So, who do you want on your fantasy football team? Well, my choice, Alshon Jeffery.
But Frank, Jeffery just had a couple big games and that inflated his stats for the year. Okay, well, that's true. 467 of AJ's 1,421 yards came in 2 games, and so did 3 of his touchdowns. Okay, but let's get rid of those numbers. That still leaves him with 954 yards and 4 touchdowns. If Jeffery hits that again, that same mark, 954, 4 scores, well, that yardage total and touchdown total put him with the likes of Larry Fitzgerald, Marcus Colston, Mike Wallace. Yeah, those guys are projected in that same area this year. And that's if we take 2 games away from Alshon Jeffery. Now how do you feel about him? All right, to be fair, let's do the same thing with Brandon Marshall. Take away 2 games.
139 yards, 117 yards for a total of 256 yards and 3 touchdowns as well.
Why will you take away 2 games?
Because that's what we have to do to be fair. He's my co-host.
So, subtracting those totals still leaves Brandon Marshall with 1,039 yards and 9 scores. Yes, he's slightly more consistent than Alshon Jeffery. He scores more. But it's not a huge difference, folks. Now, I threw a lot of numbers at you just then, and I told you, well, they don't scare me. Something else does, though. Here it is. Last year, Jay Cutler and Josh McCown split snaps for the Bears. Now, only one of those guys still resides in Chi-Town. That's right, Cutler. After his return from injury in Week 15, Jay targeted Alshon Jeffery just 23 times in 3 games to Brandon Marshall's 31 targets over the same period. So it's clear, Brandon Marshall is still Jay Cutler's favorite. Sorry, Kristen. So really quickly, let's recap. If Jay prefers Brandon Marshall, and we've already said Brandon Marshall's not slowing down out there, then why did I pick Alshon Jeffery again? Because tape does not lie. Here's what I like from AJ. Mark Trestman and Aaron Kromer, well, they design a lot of athletic plays for him. Versus the Cleveland Browns in Week 15, 3rd down, 13:38 to go in the second quarter. This is a designed screen pass to Alshon Jeffery in the red zone. If we get better blocking from Brandon Marshall and Martellus Bennett here on the play, maybe we've got something like a touchdown, and that increases his numbers. Now, Alshon Jeffery's also good at running that 5 to 8 yard in route, the dig route, they sometimes call it. He also is really good at running shallow crosses. But where he really will earn his money in 2014, and the Bears know this, is going over the top. He is a big play wide receiver, maybe even the best in the league next year. Aside from Calvin Johnson, I'm not crazy. My example, Week 15, the Browns game again, 11:08 left in the 4th quarter. This is the touchdown pass versus Cleveland. Check it out. Off the line, no one bumps Jeffery. He runs right by the defender, and the safety just has no chance because Jay Cutler puts the ball in a place where AJ can go and get it, and as you see, that's exactly what he does. We move on to Week 17 versus the Packers. 6:01 left in the 3rd quarter. Trips left for the Bears. Jeffery gives number 37 a shake and go down the left side. He is wide open. It's a 67-yard bomb. So that's what I like. But here's what I don't like in regards to Alshon Jeffery's use in the Bears offense. I'd like to see more looks in the red zone. Week 15 versus the Browns. We're early in the game, 10:51 left in the first quarter. It's an interception thrown by Jay Cutler. Why? Well, Cutler focused on Brandon Marshall. Alshon Jeffery one-on-one outside of the bunch formation. I know he's not the primary receiver, folks. That's not what I'm showing you. What I'm showing you is a few steps into the route, it becomes really clear that Jeffery is one-on-one. Now, this is week 15, folks. We already know by this time that he's capable of going up and getting the ball, but Jay Cutler forces the ball to Brandon Marshall. I don't know. Am I crazy? What would you rather do? Go one-on-one or go 1 versus 2? Well, if you went 1 versus 2 like Jay Cutler did, you just threw an interception. My point is if the Bears start giving Jeffery more looks in the red zone, then naturally his touchdown total should go up. And remember, that was the only real difference between him and Marshall last season. Jeffery's a young, athletic, polished route runner, so the answer to me is clear. Alshon Jeffery is the Bears receiver you want in 2014.